Have you ever wondered why someone suddenly starts missing you when you pull back? 1 minute you're there, always available, and they treat you like an option, as if your presence doesn't truly matter. Then, the moment you step away, asterisk boom, asterisk, their attitude shifts and suddenly, they're craving your attention, desperate to reclaim what they once took for granted. Why does this happen? What's the secret to flipping the script and making someone realize what they've lost? Here's the hard truth. It's not about being petty, manipulative, or playing mind games. It's about something much deeper, mastering yourself. When you choose to embrace distance, you're making a conscious decision to prioritize your own well-being, your own growth. By stepping back, you're giving them the opportunity to experience life without you, and this absence often hits harder than they ever expected. When you're constantly available, people can become complacent. They begin to expect your presence and energy, assuming it will always be there. But the moment you pull back, that safety net vanishes. They're forced to confront the reality that they no longer have immediate access to the comfort, support, and care you offered. They begin to feel a void where your presence once was, and that void sparks a shift in their perspective. Suddenly, they're left wondering what went wrong, questioning why they didn't appreciate you more when they had the chance. In pulling back, you're not just creating physical distance, you're giving them an emotional wake-up call. You're allowing them to feel the weight of your absence and understand the true value you brought into their life. It's in this space that they start to miss you, not because they're entitled to your attention, but because they begin to realize what a significant role you played in their happiness and fulfillment. This shift isn't about punishing them. It's about reclaiming your own power and demonstrating that your time, energy, and love are not to be taken lightly. It's about standing firm in the knowledge that your worth is non-negotiable. In today's video, I'm giving you 7 brutally honest reasons why pulling away will make them come running back. And we're using Stoic wisdom to break it all down. Get ready, because this is going to change the way you look at relationships, and more importantly, how you see yourself. All right, let's dive right into it. Before we start, there's something crucial you need to understand. This video isn't just about them. It's about you. You have far more control over your relationships than you've probably realized. It's not just about sitting around and waiting for someone to come crawling back after you pull away. It's about stepping into your power, taking control of your life, and recognizing your worth on a much deeper level. You see, many of us get caught in this trap of thinking that our value is determined by how others treat us. If they ignore us, we feel invisible. If they leave, we feel unworthy. But what if I told you that the true power lies in how you choose to respond? By pulling away, you're not only shifting the dynamic in the relationship, but you're also shifting your focus inward, reclaiming your sense of self. This is about owning your decisions and no longer allowing someone else's behavior to dictate your happiness. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while we can't control other people's actions, we can always control our reactions. When you choose to step back, it's not about manipulating someone to come back to you out of fear of losing you. It's about creating space for yourself to grow, to reflect, and to nurture your own journey. And in doing so, something remarkable happens. You no longer feel the need to chase validation from others. You begin to understand that your worth is intrinsic, not something determined by someone else's attention or affection. When you pull back, you're essentially sending a message to them and to yourself that you will not settle for less than you deserve. And in that act of distancing, you gain clarity. You start to see the relationship for what it really is, rather than what you've been hoping it might be. This is about more than just relationships. This is about personal empowerment, self-respect, and embracing the truth that you are whole, with or without their presence in your life. So, as we explore these 7 reasons, keep one thing in mind. This is your journey. Every step you take to reclaim your time, energy, and focus is a step towards becoming the most powerful version of yourself. And trust me, when you stand firmly in that power, people take notice. So, let's get started. You're not just stepping back to get their attention. You're stepping back to grow, to evolve, and to give yourself the respect and time that you deserve. Now, I know some of you watching might be feeling frustrated, like you've given too much for too long. Maybe you've always been the one reaching out, always putting in the effort, always being the one to make things right. But let me hit you with this. Every time you chase someone who doesn't appreciate you, you lose a piece of yourself. That stops today. By the end of this video, you're not just going to understand why giving them space works. You're going to know exactly how to do it in a way that leaves you feeling stronger, more confident, and more powerful than ever. Here's the truth. Constantly being the one to fix things, to make sure the relationship is intact, to go above and beyond, slowly drains you. It chips away at your self-esteem and creates a dynamic where you're giving way more than you're receiving. And the longer you stay in that cycle, the harder it becomes to break free. You start believing that if you don't do it, no one will. But that mindset is dangerous. It keeps you stuck, dependent on their validation, their approval, their love. The reality is, you've been pouring so much energy into them that you've left little for yourself. Think about it. How many times have you let your own needs fall to the wayside just to make sure they were happy? How often have you silenced your own desires or ignored your intuition just to keep the peace? This is where the shift happens. When you step back, you're no longer pouring all of your energy into someone who isn't appreciating it. Instead, you're redirecting that energy back into yourself. You're reclaiming your power, your time, and your worth. Pulling away isn't just about creating distance between you and them. It's about creating space for you to reflect, heal, and rediscover who you are without constantly seeking their approval. It's about giving yourself the opportunity to rise, to thrive, and to build a life where you are the priority. And here's the best part. When you do this, something magical happens. You stop feeling desperate for their attention because you've finally given yourself what you were craving from them: validation, love, and respect. And let me tell you, when you truly embody that self-worth, you become magnetic. Not just to them, but to everyone around you. You start to attract people who respect you, who value your time and energy because you value it. So, today marks a turning point. No more chasing. No more giving more than you're receiving. No more feeling like you're not enough because someone else failed to see your worth. By the time this video is over, you're going to be ready to pull back with confidence. Not out of spite, not to play games, but because you deserve to focus on yourself. You deserve to evolve, to grow, and to live a life where your value is never questioned, especially by you. Here's the thing about Stoicism. It's not about ignoring your feelings or pretending you don't care. It's about realizing that you can't control how someone else feels or reacts. You can't control whether they see your value right away, but you can control how much of your energy you give to someone who doesn't. And when you pull back, when you focus that energy on yourself instead of them, something amazing happens. They start to realize what they're missing because you're showing them through your actions that you don't need their validation to feel whole. Stoicism teaches us that our power lies in our response, not in the outcome we want from someone else. It's about recognizing that, at the end of the day, your peace and happiness are your responsibility. So, when you pull back, you're not doing it as a tactic to manipulate their feelings. You're doing it to reclaim your own. You're setting boundaries that say, I respect myself too much to keep giving to someone who isn't giving back. And trust me, people feel that. They can sense when your energy shifts from seeking validation outside of yourself to being completely grounded in who you are. That shift is magnetic. Why? Because most people are used to others seeking their attention, bending over backward to make things work. But when you no longer need their approval to feel good about yourself, it catches them off guard. You become the person who stands out from the crowd, someone who knows their worth and won't settle for anything less than being truly valued. And here's the kicker. When they realize you're not waiting around for them, that's when they start to feel the void your presence once filled. You see, pulling back isn't about giving up. It's about leveling up. It's about putting the focus back where it belongs, on your own growth, your own well-being, and your own journey. When you do that, you're not just showing them what they're missing. You're reminding yourself of all the things you've been neglecting while chasing after their attention. And here's where the real power of stoicism kicks in. You understand that whether they come running back or not doesn't matter, because your value isn't determined by their recognition of it. It's something that exists with or without their validation. By pulling back, you're giving them the opportunity to see your worth, but more importantly, you're giving yourself the space to fully embody it. So, are you ready to step into your power? Let's get into the 7 reasons why they're going to come running back once you give them distance. Reason 1. The shock of your growth. You know why people get so comfortable in relationships, friendships, or even family dynamics. It's because they think they've got you all figured out. They think they've mapped out every move you'll make, every response you'll have. You're always available, always there to cater to their needs, and they take that consistency for granted. They believe they can count on you being the same, no matter how little they give in return. That's exactly why, when you step back, when you take that time to work on yourself, it completely throws them off. It's like the rug gets pulled out from under them, and suddenly, they have no idea what's going on. This shift is more than just physical distance. It's an energetic withdrawal. The predictability they relied on vanishes, and with it, their sense of control over the dynamic. They've become so used to you prioritizing their needs that when you stop, it creates a void, one they didn't expect. And here's the kicker. People often don't realize how much they rely on your energy until it's no longer there. Your availability was a comfort to them, something they believed would always be within reach. But when you decide to pull back, to focus on your own growth, it forces them to confront the reality that your presence in their life was never guaranteed. Suddenly, they're left wondering, what happened? What changed? They start questioning themselves, analyzing their behavior, and often regretting how they may have taken you for granted. That's the power of stepping back. It breaks the cycle of complacency and forces them to reassess not only the relationship, but also the value you bring to their life. And let's be clear, this isn't about playing mind games. It's about recognizing that people only value what they realize they can lose. When you're always there, they assume that's just the way things are. But the moment you step into your own power, focusing on your growth and not theirs, the dynamic changes. You're no longer their safety net, and that realization shakes them to their core. This is why pulling back has such a profound impact. It's not just about making them miss you. It's about disrupting their perception of you. You're not the same person they once took for granted. You're evolving. And in doing so, you're making them see that they either need to evolve with you or risk being left behind. It's a wake-up call that can either lead to a deeper appreciation of who you become or a necessary parting of ways. Either way, you win. Let me paint you a picture. For months or even years, you've been the dependable one. You're the person who always checks in, who always makes the plans, who's always there when they need something. Then, one day, you stop. You stop texting, you stop calling, and instead of chasing them, you're chasing your goals. You're out there hitting the gym, leveling up your career, spending time with people who value you. What do you think happens next? They freak out. They didn't see it coming. They thought they knew you, but now you're someone they don't recognize. Here's the secret. People fear change, especially when that change comes from someone they underestimated. When you grow without them, it makes them question everything. They start to think, wait a minute, did I misjudge them? Did I miss something? That shock is like a wake-up call they weren't ready for. They start to wonder what else they got wrong about you, and that curiosity makes them crave your attention even more. But let's not sugarcoat this. You're not growing for them. You're doing it for yourself. And that's the biggest twist. People often make the mistake of thinking personal growth is about proving others wrong. It's not. It's about becoming the best version of you for you. The more you focus on your goals, your ambitions, and your personal growth, the more your transformation will speak for itself. And here's what happens next. They start watching. It's human nature. People who didn't value you before suddenly start lurking, trying to figure out what's changed. They scroll through your social media, ask mutual friends, or just keep a silent eye on your progress. It's curiosity mixed with regret. They see you glowing up. Maybe you've leveled up in your career, gotten into the best shape of your life, or started new hobbies that give you joy and purpose. They start realizing just how much they missed out on, how they underestimated your potential. But by then, it's too late. You're already thriving, and their opinion no longer holds any weight. Here's the secret. When you pull back, when you stop pouring your energy into someone who didn't appreciate it, you finally have the space to pour it into yourself. You get to reclaim all that time, all that emotional bandwidth, and direct it toward your own growth. And this is where the real magic happens. Choose one area of your life to focus on and dive into it full force. Whether it's your fitness, career, creativity, or personal hobbies, make that your priority. Don't do it to prove anything to them. Do it because you deserve to live your best life. You owe it to yourself to thrive, to explore your passions, and to become the best version of yourself. The irony is, when you stop caring about their validation and start focusing on yourself, they can't help but notice. They start to wonder what changed, what sparked this transformation. Suddenly, they're paying attention to what you're doing, probably wishing they'd appreciated you more when they had the chance. But here's the most empowering part. By the time they realize how much you've grown, you won't even need or want their attention anymore. You'll be so focused on your journey, your goals, and your newfound confidence that their reaction will feel irrelevant. It's not about getting them to regret how they treated you. It's about realizing that you don't need their validation to feel whole. When you invest in yourself, you naturally attract new opportunities, new people, and new experiences that align with your elevated self. And trust me, the moment you stop chasing what no longer serves you, everything that's meant for you will start flowing into your life effortlessly. So keep growing, keep evolving, and let them watch from the sidelines. Because in the end, it's your growth, not their regret, that truly matters. Reason 2. The magnetic pull of self-sufficiency. Let's talk about self-sufficiency for a moment, because this is one of the most overlooked yet powerful traits you can develop. In a world where everyone is so interconnected, where people often crave external validation, attention, and approval to feel like they're enough, self-sufficiency is like a superpower. It's more than just being independent. It's about cultivating a mindset that says, I am enough just as I am. It's about owning your worth without relying on anyone else to confirm it for you. And here's the thing. When you embody that kind of energy, it's magnetic. People can't help but be drawn to someone who's thriving on their own terms. Most people are constantly seeking affirmation from others, whether it's through social media likes, compliments, or being told they matter. But when you stand in your power, when you don't need anyone else's validation to feel whole, you set yourself apart in a way that's undeniable. You become someone who isn't looking for approval because you already know your worth. And that level of confidence, it's rare. It's the kind of thing that makes people stop and take notice because it's so different from the norm. When you reach a place of true self-sufficiency, something remarkable happens. Your relationships shift. You stop engaging with people who drain your energy or don't value you. You no longer chase connections that don't serve you because you're not operating from a place of lack. Instead, you attract people and opportunities that align with your higher self. You become a force of nature, someone who's so grounded in their own value that others are naturally drawn to you, not because you need them, but because they want to be in the presence of someone who's genuinely thriving. And here's the beauty of it. Self-sufficiency doesn't mean you close yourself off from others. It doesn't mean you don't want relationships or connection. It just means that your happiness and sense of fulfillment aren't dependent on someone else's validation. You're complete on your own, and that kind of inner peace is powerful. People will notice the difference in you when you no longer seek approval, but simply live in alignment with who you truly are. And once you achieve that, you won't just attract attention. You'll attract a kind of respect and admiration that only comes from being fully, unapologetically yourself. Now, self-sufficiency isn't about shutting people out or pretending you don't care. It's about knowing your worth and not needing someone else to validate it. When you reach a point where your happiness, your confidence, and your success don't rely on anyone else, you become incredibly powerful. And here's the thing. People are drawn to that. They're drawn to the kind of person who knows who they are and doesn't need to constantly seek external approval. Why? Because it's rare in a world full of people trying to fit in. Being comfortable in your own skin is an attractive quality that will make others want to be around you. Standing alone makes you stand out. When you're self-sufficient, you radiate a quiet confidence that can't be faked. It's not loud or boastful. It's an inner strength that speaks volumes. You're not chasing anyone for attention, begging for validation, or waiting for someone to tell you you're worthy. And guess what? That's the moment people start craving your attention. When they realize that you don't need them to feel good about yourself, they start to wonder why. They begin to question, how are they so okay without me? Why don't they need my approval anymore? And that's when the dynamic shifts. They go from feeling in control to feeling like they're missing out on something they didn't even realize they needed. Here's the truth. People want what they can't have. It's a fundamental aspect of human psychology. When something is easily accessible, it's often taken for granted. But when you stop giving them the attention they once dismissed, you transform into that elusive prize, the very thing they can't have. It's as if a switch flips in their minds. Suddenly, the dynamic shifts dramatically. The person who is always there, always checking in, and consistently making them feel important is no longer within reach. The tables have turned, and instead of you being the one in pursuit, they begin to feel the pangs of longing for your presence. This isn't about playing games or manipulating their emotions. It's about establishing healthy boundaries where your happiness is no longer contingent upon someone else's validation or attention. By stepping back, you reclaim your power, prioritizing your own growth and well-being. When they witness this transformation, it ignites a sense of urgency and desire within them. They start to realize that their previous comfort has come at the cost of your presence, and the absence of that connection forces them to confront their feelings. You see, when you create space for yourself, you inadvertently highlight your own worth. They begin to question their actions and reflect on the value you brought into their lives. It's a wake-up call, urging them to recognize what they have lost. This realization can lead to a genuine shift in their perspective. Instead of merely taking you for granted, they start to understand that your presence is not a given. It's something precious that they now wish to reclaim. So, when they see you thriving and moving forward without them, it ignites a deeper longing, a desire to be part of your journey once again. They're not just missing you. They're recognizing the impact of your absence and the possibility that someone else might step into that space. The fear of losing you, coupled with the realization of what you bring to their life, creates a powerful magnetism that draws them back into your orbit. Ultimately, this shift emphasizes that you are the one holding the reins of your happiness, and that knowledge is what makes you truly irresistible. Think about this. When you were always available and constantly reaching out, you were inadvertently giving away your power. With each message sent, each call made, and each moment spent seeking their attention, you communicated a silent but profound message. I need you to feel good about myself. I need you to validate my worth. This dynamic creates an imbalance where your happiness becomes tethered to their actions, and that's a dangerous place to be. But here's the transformative moment. When you decide to stop doing that, when you consciously choose to step back and focus on your own growth, goals, and happiness, everything changes. By prioritizing yourself, you demonstrate that your self-worth is not contingent upon their approval. You shift from a mindset of chasing after them to one of actively pursuing your own aspirations. This change in focus is magnetic. It draws people in because, let's face it, everyone wants to be around someone who is confident in who they are and is unapologetically committed to their own journey. This newfound confidence radiates from you. It's an energy that's palpable and attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who exude self-assurance and independence. When you invest in yourself, whether through personal development, pursuing passions, or nurturing friendships with those who truly value you, you're not only enhancing your own life, but also sending a clear message to others. Your time and energy are valuable. As you flourish, those who once took you for granted begin to notice your growth. They can see the shift. You're no longer the person they could rely on without effort. You become a beacon of inspiration, showing them what it looks like to thrive on your own terms. The magnetic pull of your confidence and independence is powerful. It stirs something within them, igniting feelings of regret, longing, and a desire to reconnect. Ultimately, this shift isn't just about attracting their attention. It's about transforming your own narrative. You're not chasing after validation anymore. You're standing firm in your worth. That makes you not only irresistible, but also empowers you to create the life you've always dreamed of, regardless of whether they come back into your life. But here's where it gets even deeper. When you become self-sufficient, you're no longer emotionally dependent on someone else. You're not clinging to their every word, waiting for them to make you feel worthy. You're creating your own sense of worth through your actions, your achievements, and your ability to thrive without needing anyone's constant approval. And that's a game changer. It's like the moment you stop needing them, they start needing you. Why? Because they see that you're happy, fulfilled, and moving forward without them, and that scares them. It makes them realize they've been taking you for granted, and now they're on the outside looking in, wondering how you're doing it all without them. Self-sufficiency also teaches you a crucial lesson about protecting your emotional energy. When you're no longer relying on someone else to make you feel good about yourself, you gain the clarity needed to be more selective about who you allow into your life. This newfound independence empowers you to set boundaries without guilt or hesitation. You no longer fear losing someone who doesn't respect you. Instead, you prioritize your own well-being and self-worth. As you begin to establish these boundaries, something remarkable happens. You gain respect not just from others but from yourself. By asserting your needs and limits, you send a clear message that you recognize your own value. This shift in mindset is transformative. No longer are you an open book waiting for anyone to flip through your pages. You become a rare manuscript, cherished for the depth and wisdom it contains. When you stop being so readily available, people start to perceive your presence as something special, almost like a privilege. They begin to realize that your time and energy are finite resources, something to be treasured rather than taken for granted. The dynamic shifts. No longer are you the one chasing after their attention. Instead, they find themselves wanting to earn your time and affection. This shift creates a ripple effect, where those who truly value you will rise to the occasion, while those who don't respect your boundaries will naturally fade away. By taking control of your emotional landscape, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and confidence that is both magnetic and empowering. You become the architect of your own happiness, curating the relationships that enrich your life while letting go of those that drain you. This process not only enhances your emotional well-being, but also reinforces your understanding of self-worth, creating a life that resonates with authenticity and fulfillment. Think about it. When someone is always available, always there, people tend to take that for granted. It becomes expected. But when you pull back, when you take that availability away, it forces people to reevaluate how much they appreciate you. They start to realize just how much of your energy they were getting, and now that it's gone, they crave it. They want to be a part of your life again, not because they want to control you, but because they realize you're someone who knows how to thrive on your own, and that's attractive in the truest sense of the word. And here's something most people don't understand. Self-sufficiency is not about isolation. It's about strength and empowerment. It's about recognizing that while you genuinely enjoy the company of others, you don't rely on them to define your worth or to feel fulfilled. Imagine walking into a room alone and exuding the same level of confidence as if you were surrounded by a crowd of supporters. That kind of self-assuredness is rare and incredibly attractive. It's magnetic, drawing others in effortlessly, even when you're not trying to attract attention. To cultivate this self-sufficiency, start small. Treat yourself to experiences that bring you joy and fulfillment. Go out for a solo dinner at that restaurant you've always wanted to try. Embark on a solo hike to reconnect with nature, or dedicate an entire day to indulging in your favorite hobbies without any distractions. These moments of solitude are not just about spending time alone. They're opportunities to learn how to enjoy your own company, to reflect, and to recharge. As you immerse yourself in activities that resonate with your passions, you begin to appreciate the time you have with yourself. You discover the beauty of your own thoughts, the thrill of pursuing your interests, and the satisfaction of nurturing your own happiness. The more comfortable you become in your own skin, the less you'll feel the need to seek external validation from others. You will find that your self-worth is not contingent upon anyone else's approval or attention. Instead, it emanates from within, radiating confidence and authenticity. This inner strength not only transforms your relationship with yourself, but also influences how others perceive you. When you stop seeking validation, you inadvertently elevate your own status in the eyes of those around you. People begin to notice the glow of someone who is secure in their identity, and they are drawn to that energy. You become a beacon of self-sufficiency, inspiring others to embark on their own journeys toward independence and self-discovery. In essence, as you nurture your relationship with yourself, you pave the way for deeper, more meaningful connections with those who appreciate you for the amazing individual you become. And here's the bonus. When they see how well you're doing on your own, they'll be drawn to that energy. They'll start craving to be a part of your life because you're no longer relying on anyone to feel whole. When you can create your own happiness, confidence, and fulfillment without needing someone else, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. And when they see you thriving, they'll realize just how magnetic self-sufficiency really is. Reason 3. The envy of your newfound confidence. Confidence is one of those rare qualities that has the power to make people stop in their tracks, especially when it comes from someone they least expected. Think about it. When someone is used to seeing you unsure of yourself, always second-guessing your worth, and constantly seeking their approval, your newfound confidence hits them like a bolt of lightning. It's not just a change in attitude. It disrupts the entire dynamic and shifts the power in the relationship in a way that can leave them utterly bewildered. They begin to wonder, where did this confidence come from, and how did I not see this before? It forces them to reevaluate their perceptions of you and the nature of your connection. Suddenly, the person who was once easily swayed by their opinions or validation stands before them as a strong, self-assured individual who knows their worth. This newfound assurance changes everything. It alters the way they interact with you and the way they see themselves. This shift in power dynamics can be unsettling for those who took you for granted. They start questioning why they ever thought they could overlook your contributions and support. The confidence you exude not only makes them realize what they missed out on, but also compels them to reconsider their own behavior. Are they worthy of this new version of you? Can they meet you at this elevated level of self-respect and admiration? When you stop needing their approval and instead cultivate your own sense of worth, it sends a clear message. You are no longer dependent on their acknowledgement to feel whole. This transformation can evoke feelings of jealousy and regret in those who once had the upper hand, as they recognize that the foundation of their relationship with you has changed. Your confidence creates a new standard for what you will accept and what you deserve, and it becomes evident that they must step up to be part of your life moving forward. As you embrace this newfound confidence, not only do you empower yourself, but you also set a powerful example for others. You show them that true self-worth comes from within and that it's possible to thrive independently. This ripple effect can inspire those around you to reflect on their own insecurities and begin their own journeys towards self-discovery and empowerment. In this way, your confidence doesn't just transform your relationship with yourself. It has the potential to influence the dynamics of your relationships with others, leading to deeper connections based on mutual respect and appreciation. Imagine this. For the longest time, you've been the person who hesitates, who questions themselves before making a decision, and who asks for their opinion on every little thing. You've been looking to them for validation, letting their opinions shape how you see yourself. But then something changes. You step back, focus on yourself, and start building a stronger version of you. You work on your self-esteem and begin trusting your own judgment more than theirs. Slowly but surely, your confidence starts to grow. Here's the thing about confidence. It's contagious, but not in the way you might think. Yes, It spreads, but often not because people genuinely want to see you succeed. In fact, when someone who took you for granted sees you stepping into your confidence, they can feel uncomfortable, even threatened. Why is that? Because your growth shines a light on their own insecurities, forcing them to confront the very things they may have tried to ignore or suppress. Your newfound confidence acts as a mirror, reflecting back not just your strengths but also their shortcomings. It makes them question themselves. It stirs up a whirlwind of introspection as they wonder why they didn't recognize this potential in you before. More importantly, it prompts a deeper, more unsettling inquiry. Why don't they have that same confidence within themselves? This comparison can trigger feelings of inadequacy, igniting a sense of urgency for them to either step up or risk being left behind. This discomfort can lead to a variety of reactions. Some may respond with jealousy or resentment, feeling threatened by the changes they see in you. They might attempt to downplay your achievements or brush off your growth as a mere phase. Others may experience a sense of regret, realizing that they didn't value you as they should have when they had the chance. This realization can be a powerful motivator for change. It forces them to reconsider their actions and attitudes, leading to a potential awakening of their own self-worth. But here's the beauty of it. While their discomfort may stem from insecurity, your confidence serves as a catalyst for transformation, not just for you, but potentially for them as well. By embodying self-assuredness and embracing your own worth, you create a ripple effect that encourages others to reflect on their own lives. They may start to question why they've settled for less, why they haven't pursued their own passions, or why they haven't embraced their own potential. Ultimately, your journey of self-discovery and empowerment can inspire those around you to take action. While they may initially feel uneasy or threatened, your confidence challenges them to rise to the occasion, pushing them to confront their insecurities head-on. In this way, confidence isn't just about elevating yourself. It's also about igniting a spark in others, inviting them to embark on their own paths of growth and self-acceptance. And who knows, some may even find the courage to reconnect, not just with you, but with their own true selves. That's where the envy comes in. It's not always a toxic kind of envy, but it's envy nonetheless. They wish they had the level of confidence you're now showing. They wish they had the ability to walk into a room with their head held high, knowing exactly who they are and what they stand for. They see you doing it, and it messes with their perception of you. You're no longer the person who relied on them for validation. You're no longer the person who asked for their opinion before making a move. You become someone who knows their worth, and that kind of confidence is magnetic. It draws people in, but at the same time, it pushes them to reflect on why they didn't recognize this side of you earlier. Let me break this down a little more. When someone gets used to being in a position of power over you, whether it's in a relationship, friendship, or even a work environment, they get comfortable with the idea that you look up to them. They like the fact that you seek their approval because it makes them feel more secure in their own position. But when you stop needing that approval, when you start making decisions without their input, it shakes things up. They no longer feel like they have the upper hand, and that imbalance creates discomfort. That's where the shift in dynamics happens. Your confidence now demands respect. It commands attention in a way that being unsure or seeking approval never did. People are forced to see you differently. They can no longer treat you like someone who's waiting for their validation because you're clearly not, and that fundamentally changes how they approach you. This shift alters their perception of you, often illuminating the depths of their underestimation. Suddenly, the person who once took your presence for granted is now confronted with a version of you that doesn't require their affirmation to shine. They can't help but recognize the strength and clarity you exude. It's like a light has been switched on, and they begin to see not only your potential, but also the ways they may have overlooked your contributions in the past. This newfound awareness can stir feelings of regret within them, as they grapple with the realization that they didn't appreciate what they had until it was no longer easily accessible. As you embody this confident energy, the dynamic between you shifts dramatically. The power balance tilts in your favor. They are now the ones who may feel a sense of urgency to reconnect, to engage, and to make amends. They want to be part of your journey because they recognize that you've moved beyond merely being a supportive presence. You've evolved into someone who is forging their own path and thriving independently. This transformation compels them to reconsider their own actions, prompting a deeper reflection on how they valued not only you but also themselves. Moreover, this shift creates an opportunity for healthier interactions moving forward. The ones who truly care about you may now seek to understand your needs and desires more fully. They will approach you with a newfound respect, one that acknowledges your worth without any conditions attached. This change can foster more meaningful connections as it encourages open communication, mutual respect, and a greater appreciation for each other's individual journeys. In essence, your confidence doesn't just elevate your own standing. It reshapes the landscape of your relationships, prompting others to step up, recognize their shortcomings, and potentially evolve alongside you. It's a powerful reminder that self-worth and confidence are not just personal victories. They're catalysts for transformation that can uplift everyone in your orbit. And that is a testament to the profound impact of truly knowing and embracing your value. But here's the beautiful part. Your confidence is not just about how others see you. It's about how you see yourself. You're no longer relying on external approval to feel good. You know who you are, and you're not afraid to show it. You're not afraid to take up space, to speak your mind, and to stand firm in your decisions. That kind of self-assuredness makes people want to be around you. They want to be a part of that energy because confidence is attractive in every sense of the word. Here's something most people don't realize. Confidence doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be about being the most outspoken person in the room. True confidence is quiet. It's an inner knowing that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. It's the ability to walk into a situation fully aware of your value without needing anyone to validate it. That kind of confidence is incredibly powerful. It shifts the way people treat you, but more importantly, it transforms the way you treat yourself. When your confidence comes from a place of self-assurance, it radiates a subtle strength that others can sense. You become a magnet for respect and admiration, not because you're vying for attention, but because your presence alone speaks volumes. This quieter form of confidence allows you to stand firm in your beliefs, opinions, and values, creating a solid foundation for your interactions with others. You begin to set boundaries not out of defensiveness, but from a place of self-respect, making it clear that your time and energy are precious. Moreover, this inner confidence breeds resilience. When you're anchored in your self-worth, you're less swayed by external opinions or judgments. You learn to navigate challenges with grace, viewing setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than reflections of your inadequacies. This mindset not only empowers you, but also encourages those around you to embrace their own journeys without fear of judgment. As you embody this quiet confidence, you'll notice a ripple effect in your relationships. People are drawn to your authenticity, intrigued by your ability to be secure in your skin. They begin to see you not just as a friend or companion, but as someone who inspires them to recognize their own worth. This shift can create deeper connections based on mutual respect, appreciation, and genuine support, fostering an environment where everyone feels valued. Additionally, the way you treat yourself begins to change. You start prioritizing self-care and personal growth because you understand that you deserve it. You set goals that resonate with your true self, pursuing passions and interests that ignite your spirit. As you invest in your own happiness, the need for external validation diminishes. You find fulfillment in your achievements and experiences, not because they are recognized by others, but because they align with who you are. In essence, this quiet confidence cultivates a profound sense of inner peace and fulfillment. It reminds you that you are enough, just as you are. It allows you to embrace your unique journey without comparison, empowering you to forge your own path with clarity and purpose. So, the next time you find yourself in a room full of people, remember that true confidence is not about being the loudest voice. It's about knowing deep down that your presence is enough. Confidence isn't about being perfect. In fact, Part of being confident is being okay with your imperfections. It's about trusting yourself enough to know that you're worthy, flaws and all. It's about knowing that you don't have to be everything to everyone, because you're enough just as you are. When you start showing up with that kind of confidence, it changes everything. You're no longer seeking approval because you've given it to yourself. So, how does this make someone crave your attention? It's simple. People are drawn to those who are sure of themselves because confidence is something we all aspire to. When they see you standing tall, owning your space, and making decisions without needing their input, it sparks something in them. They start to wonder, how did they get so confident, and why didn't I see it before? That curiosity turns into attraction, and that attraction turns into a craving for your presence. Here's where it gets even more interesting. When you exude confidence, it forces people to take responsibility for their own insecurities. They can't project their doubts onto you anymore because you're not accepting them. You're not playing to the dynamic where you need them to tell you who you are. Instead, you're showing them who you are. And that makes them want to be part of your world because your self-assuredness creates a sense of stability, and people crave stability. Start practicing confidence in small ways. It could be as simple as saying no to things you don't want to do without feeling guilty, or it could be speaking up for yourself in situations where you normally stay quiet. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel, and the more you'll start to see the dynamic shift in your relationships. Confidence doesn't mean being the loudest in the room. It means knowing you belong there, even if you're the quietest. When you start owning your worth and stop relying on anyone else to define it for you, you'll notice a profound shift. People who once took you for granted will start craving the version of you they never saw coming. The confident, self-assured, empowered version of you. And that version of you, it's unstoppable. Reason 4. The intrigue of unpredictability. Unpredictability is one of the most underrated forms of power in any relationship. People often don't realize just how magnetic being unpredictable can be. When someone can predict your every move, they stop paying attention. They get comfortable. They assume they know exactly what you're going to do, and as a result, they stop putting in effort. They stop thinking about you as much because, in their minds, they've already figured you out. But here's where unpredictability becomes your secret weapon. When you introduce an element of surprise into the dynamic, it shakes things up. Suddenly, you're not just another chapter in their story. You become a thrilling plot twist that keeps them on their toes. This unpredictability can manifest in various ways. Perhaps you take an unexpected interest in a new hobby, change your routine, or even switch up your usual responses. Each deviation from the norm acts like a spark, reigniting their curiosity and making them reconsider how much they value your presence. The beauty of unpredictability lies in its ability to disrupt complacency. When you stop being an open book, people start to wonder what you're up to. They begin to question their assumptions about you and the relationship. This shift forces them to engage more deeply, to pay attention, and to invest time and energy into understanding you again. They may even find themselves wanting to impress you or regain your attention, which can lead to a revitalization of the relationship. Moreover, being unpredictable fosters a sense of intrigue and excitement. Humans are naturally drawn to novelty. It's in our DNA. When you present a new side of yourself, whether through fresh perspectives, spontaneous adventures, or simply showing a different facet of your personality, you invite others to experience you in a new light. This can reignite the initial spark of attraction and deepen emotional connections as they begin to realize there's much more to you than they previously thought. Additionally, unpredictability can serve as a powerful reminder of your independence. It communicates that you are not defined by their expectations or reactions. This independence is alluring because it signifies that your happiness is not solely dependent on them. You're living your life on your terms. When they see that you are capable of making choices that excite you, choices that they didn't foresee, they may feel a renewed desire to be part of your journey. However, it's important to approach this with authenticity. The goal is not to play mind games or to confuse people for the sake of it. Instead, embrace your genuine self and explore new avenues that align with your growth and happiness. Let your unpredictability come from a place of empowerment rather than insecurity. This way, the changes you make will reflect your evolving identity, creating a dynamic that feels organic and genuine. Ultimately, embracing unpredictability can transform your relationships by infusing them with freshness and energy. It reminds everyone involved that relationships are not static. They are living, breathing entities that thrive on growth, change, and discovery. So, don't be afraid to mix things up, whether through small changes or significant shifts. Allow yourself to be the mystery that keeps others intrigued and invested in who you are becoming. In doing so, you'll not only captivate those around you, but also unlock a deeper understanding of your own desires and aspirations. But when you become unpredictable, when you stop being so easy to read, it forces people to sit up and take notice. Suddenly, they don't know what to expect from you, and that creates intrigue. Let me break this down a little more. Imagine you've been in a situation where you were always available, always texting first, always initiating plans. The other person got used to it. They knew exactly when you call, what you'd say, and how you'd respond. That predictability, while comforting at first, eventually becomes boring. There's no excitement, no mystery. They know they don't have to work for your attention because you're always there, ready and waiting. But then something changes. You stop being so available. You stop doing the same things they've come to expect from you. Maybe you don't reply to their texts as quickly as you used to, or maybe you're not always the first to make plans anymore. You're busy living your life, and you're not making them the center of your world. What do you think happens next? They start wondering what's going on. They start questioning why you're not acting the way you used to. And that curiosity, it's powerful. It makes them think about you more because they're trying to figure out what's different. Here's the truth. People are naturally drawn to mystery. We're wired to want to solve puzzles, to figure things out. When you become unpredictable, you turn yourself into a puzzle they can't easily solve. They don't know what you're thinking, what you're doing, or why you've changed, and that makes you infinitely more interesting. They start paying closer attention to you because now there's a sense of uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds intrigue. Think about it. When someone can predict your every move, there's no challenge. But when you become less predictable, when you start doing things they didn't see coming, it forces them to reevaluate how they see you. They start to wonder what's going on in your life. Why haven't you texted back yet? Why aren't you always available anymore? Are you seeing someone else? Or are you just too busy with your own life to care as much as you used to? These questions make them think about you more and more, and that's when the dynamic shifts. They're no longer taking you for granted because now they don't feel so secure in knowing what's happening with you. But here's the key. Unpredictability doesn't mean playing games. It's not about deliberately withholding affection or attention to manipulate someone. It's about genuinely living your life in a way that puts your own needs and goals first. You're not being unpredictable for the sake of it. You're doing it because you're focused on your growth, your happiness, and your path. When you stop being predictable, it's a natural consequence of prioritizing yourself over someone who isn't giving you the same energy. Here's where it gets even more powerful. Unpredictability creates a sense of value. When you're always available, when you're always doing what someone expects, it becomes easy for them to take you for granted. They start to feel like your time and attention are just always there, waiting for them. But when you pull back, when you create a little distance, it forces them to realize that your time and attention are not guaranteed. They start to see you as someone whose presence is valuable, and they don't want to lose that. Think about it like this. If you've always been the person to initiate contact, the person who makes the plans, they start to expect it. But the moment you stop doing that, they start to notice. They realize they can't take your effort for granted anymore, because now you're not making it so easy for them. You've created a situation where they have to step up if they want to be in your life. And that shift, from them being comfortable to them feeling uncertain, is where the power of unpredictability lies. People are naturally more invested in things they can't easily obtain. If you're always available, always predictable, they don't feel the need to work for your attention. But when you become less predictable, When you start putting yourself first and stop catering to their expectations, they feel the need to invest more. They start wondering what they need to do to get your attention again, and that's when they start craving it. Here's something to remember. Unpredictability doesn't mean being flaky or unreliable. It's not about ghosting someone or disappearing for days. It's about creating a healthy balance where you're no longer making someone else the center of your universe. You're still there, you're still present, but you're no longer as predictable as you used to be. You're living your life, focusing on your goals, and not bending over backward to fit into someone else's schedule. Start by breaking one routine. If you've always been the one to text first, stop. If you've always been available at a certain time, get busy doing something else. Make your time valuable again by not always being so predictable. Let them wonder what's going on, and let them feel the absence of your constant availability. The intrigue that comes from being less predictable will naturally make them think about you more. The beauty of unpredictability lies in its ability to shift the balance. When they can't predict your every move, when they don't know what to expect from you, they start to crave your presence in ways they never did before. They begin to realize that you're not someone they can easily figure out, and that makes you infinitely more attractive. Reason 5. The realization of what they've lost. Here's one of the toughest truths in life. People often don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. It's not that they never cared about you. It's that they got comfortable. They took for granted the fact that you were always there, always showing up, always giving your time and energy to them. But when you step back and give them distance, when you're no longer that constant presence in their life, it forces them to face a reality they hadn't considered before. You were bringing a lot more to the table than they realized, and now it's gone. This sudden absence can create a profound sense of void, making them confront the emotional weight you carried in their lives. Your consistent support, understanding, and companionship often blended into the background noise of their daily routines. They might have thought they could always rely on you, but the moment you pull away, they are left grappling with the stark reality of your absence. It's a wake-up call, a moment of clarity that reveals how much you contributed to their happiness and stability. In this newfound silence, they may start to reflect on the memories you shared, the laughter, the late-night conversations, and the countless little things you did that brightened their days. They might find themselves reminiscing about how you always knew just the right thing to say to lift their spirits, or how your unwavering support encouraged them through tough times. This realization can be both painful and illuminating, making them recognize the depth of your value in their life. As time goes on, the space you create becomes a catalyst for introspection. They begin to question why they took you for granted in the first place. It could be a realization that they had become complacent, mistaking your unwavering presence for permanence. They might start asking themselves why they didn't prioritize you, why they didn't appreciate the unique qualities you brought into their relationship. This introspection can lead to feelings of regret and longing, igniting a desire to reconnect and make amends. Moreover, this distance provides a unique opportunity for both parties to grow. While they come to terms with their realization, you, too, are on a journey of self-discovery. You're focusing on your own growth, rediscovering your passions, and nurturing your self-worth without the need for external validation. This transformative phase not only empowers you but also sends a strong message. You are worthy of being valued and appreciated. What's interesting is that this dynamic can often lead to a shift in perspective for them. When they finally grasp the significance of what they've lost, it can inspire them to change their behavior. The fear of losing someone they undervalued may drive them to reassess their priorities and how they treat others moving forward. They might start reaching out, hoping to rekindle the connection, not just out of fear, but out of genuine appreciation for who you are and what you brought to their life. However, it's essential to approach this with caution. While it's tempting to welcome them back with open arms, it's crucial to assess whether they've genuinely changed. Have they learned from their past mistakes? Are they willing to treat you with the respect and appreciation you deserve moving forward? Your distance should empower you to set new boundaries, ensuring that you're not just a safety net they can fall back on when they realize they've made a mistake. Ultimately, Recognizing that people often don't appreciate what they have until it's gone can serve as a powerful lesson for both you and them. It highlights the importance of valuing relationships in the present rather than waiting for regret to set in. By stepping back, you're not just giving them a chance to miss you, you're giving yourself the gift of growth and the opportunity to reclaim your worth. So, embrace that space and let it serve as a catalyst for deeper connections based on mutual respect and appreciation. At first, they might not even notice. They might think, "Oh, they're just busy. They'll be back." They might even assume that things will just go back to normal because they're so used to the dynamic where you're always the one making the effort. But over time, something shifts. They start to feel the absence of all the little things you brought into their life. The conversations, the emotional support, the fun moments, the comfort of knowing you were always there for them. And that's when it hits them. They've lost something valuable. Here's the thing. People often underestimate the impact you have on their life until they no longer have access to it. When you were there every day, checking in, making plans, showing up for them, they got used to it. They stopped seeing it as something special and started seeing it as something guaranteed. But the moment you pull back, the moment you stop being the one who's always available, they're forced to confront the fact that they've been taking you for granted. And trust me, that realization can be a real wake-up call for them. It's in the absence of your presence that they begin to fully understand what they had. The emotional support you gave them, the time and energy you invested, the joy you brought into their life. It all becomes crystal clear when you're no longer there to provide it. They start replaying memories in their head, thinking about the good times, the laughs, the deep conversations, and with each memory, they start to feel the weight of what they've lost. They begin to realize just how much you added to their life, and that realization can be both shocking and painful for them. Think about it. When someone is always there for you, it's easy to overlook their value. You get used to it. But when they're suddenly not there, when that constant presence is gone, it creates a void. And that void is where the realization starts to sink in. They start thinking about how much you contributed to their happiness, how much you made their life better, and how much they took all of that for granted. That's when the regret sets in. They regret not appreciating you more when they had the chance, and they start craving the connection they've now lost. Here's a powerful insight. When someone realizes what they've lost, it often comes with a deep sense of emotional discomfort. They start questioning themselves, wondering how they could have missed something so important. They begin to see all the ways they failed to appreciate you, all the times they didn't recognize your efforts, and it makes them feel like they let something precious slip through their fingers. That kind of regret doesn't just disappear. It lingers, making them think about you more and more. But here's the key. You didn't do anything wrong by pulling back. In fact, by stepping back and giving them distance, you allowed them to see your true value. You gave them the space to reflect on everything you brought into their life. And now that they're feeling the loss, they're likely realizing that they made a huge mistake by not valuing you when they had the chance. That sense of loss can be incredibly powerful, and it often drives people to try and reconnect with you in ways they never did before. However, it's important to remember that you're not stepping back to manipulate anyone into missing you. This isn't about playing games. It's about recognizing your own value and not settling for a relationship or dynamic where you're not being appreciated. By giving them space, you're giving them the opportunity to reflect on their actions and to realize on their own what they've lost. You're showing them that your presence in their life is a privilege, not a given. Think of it this way. Your time, energy, and love are valuable. When you're giving them to someone who doesn't fully appreciate them, you're essentially allowing them to take you for granted. But when you pull back, when you reclaim that time and energy for yourself, you're making a powerful statement about your worth. You're saying, I know what I bring to the table, and if you can't see that, then you don't deserve to have it. And that kind of self-respect is incredibly attractive. It's often only after someone experiences your absence that they fully understand just how much you meant to them. They start comparing their life now, without you, to how it was when you were around. And that comparison is what makes them realize how much better their life was with you in it. They start to crave that sense of connection, that emotional support, that fun, that comfort you brought. But here's the thing. They can't just snap their fingers and get it back. They have to earn their place in your life again. Don't rush back in. When you pull back and give someone space to realize your worth, let them sit with that feeling. Let them truly experience what life is like without you. If they come back, they'll do so with a new appreciation for what you brought into their life. But if they don't, that's okay too, because you've already taken the steps to honor your own value and focus on your own growth. The realization of what they've lost is a powerful motivator. It forces them to confront the truth about how much you meant to them, and it often leads them to want to reconnect with you. But remember, this isn't about them. It's about you. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for anything less than being truly appreciated. By stepping back, you give them the chance to see your value, and when they finally realize what they've lost, they'll either step up or step out. Either way, you win. Reason 6. The desire to be part of your new journey. When you take a step back and focus on yourself, an incredible transformation happens. You start evolving, growing, and embracing new opportunities. Maybe you're picking up new hobbies, leveling up your career, spending more time with people who truly value you, or working on your personal development. Whatever it is, the shift is obvious, not just to you but to everyone around you. And guess what? People notice, especially the ones who once took you for granted. Here's the thing. Growth is magnetic. When people see you leveling up, moving forward, and thriving without them, it sparks something in them. They start to feel like they're missing out on this new, exciting version of you. They see you exploring new paths, embracing new challenges, and they want to be part of that journey. They don't want to feel left behind. Watching from the sidelines as you step into your power and start living a life that's truly fulfilling. Think about it. When you were always available, always putting them first, they felt comfortable. They didn't have to put in much effort because they knew you'd always be there. But now that you've taken a step back and started focusing on yourself, the dynamic has changed. You're no longer the same person who was waiting around for their attention. You've grown into someone who's living their own life, setting their own goals, and making things happen on your own terms. And that shift, it makes them want to come back because they realize you're on a journey of growth, and they don't want to miss out. Here's what most people don't understand. Personal growth is incredibly attractive. When you're actively working on becoming a better version of yourself, whether that's through your career, health, relationships, or personal development, it creates a certain energy around you. You're radiating progress, self-confidence, and ambition, and that energy draws people in. The person who once took you for granted now sees this new side of you and realizes that your life is moving forward with or without them. They start to feel a sense of urgency to be part of your journey because they recognize that you're on a path to something bigger and better. But here's where it gets even more powerful. They know they can't just walk back into your life as if nothing has changed. They can't expect to come back into your world without putting in effort. Why? Because you've grown. You've set new standards for yourself, and they know that if they want to be part of this new version of you, they'll have to step up. They'll have to show that they're willing to grow alongside you because you're no longer interested in the old dynamics where you were doing all the work. When someone sees you thriving, it makes them reflect on their own life. They start to wonder, what am I doing? How did I miss this side of them? Why aren't I growing like that? It's a wake-up call. They see you making moves, and they start to feel like they've fallen behind. And that feeling creates a desire within them to be part of your journey. They don't want to miss out on the exciting things happening in your life, and they definitely don't want someone else to come along and appreciate the new, evolved version of you before they do. This isn't about making someone feel left out. It's about you living your life authentically and fully. You're not waiting for anyone to catch up to you. You're moving forward with or without them, and that's exactly what makes them want to come back. They don't want to miss out on this new chapter of your life. They want to be there, standing by your side as you continue to grow. But here's the catch. They know they have to earn their place. They have to prove that they're capable of supporting this new, empowered version of you, or risk being left behind. Here's another truth. When you start living for yourself and focusing on your own journey, the people who aren't meant to be part of it will naturally fall away. And that's a good thing. You don't want to carry people who can't support your growth, who aren't willing to evolve with you. But the right people, the ones who truly care about you and see your value, they'll rise to the occasion. They'll want to be part of your new journey. Not because they want to hold you back, but because they see how amazing your future is and want to be there to support you every step of the way. Focus on your own growth. Not because you're trying to prove anything to anyone, but because you deserve to live a life that excites and fulfills you. Whether that's starting a new hobby, pursuing a passion project, or simply becoming the best version of yourself, make your journey about you. The right people will naturally be drawn to your energy, and the ones who took you for granted will realize what they're missing out on. When you start focusing on your own journey, you're not only improving your life, but you're also showing people that your time and energy are valuable. You're demonstrating that you're not going to wait around for anyone, and that if they want to be part of your life, they'll need to step up. This kind of self-assuredness and growth is incredibly attractive, and it makes people want to come back. Not just to be around you, but to be part of the exciting, evolving version of your life that you're creating. Reason 7. The fear of losing you to someone else. Fear is one of the most powerful motivators in human psychology. When someone realizes they might lose you to someone else, that fear hits them hard. It's like a jolt of reality that wakes them up from their complacency. They start to see that your absence is creating space for someone new to come into your life, and the thought of you being with someone else, someone who recognizes your value the way they didn't, is enough to drive them to act. Suddenly, the dynamic shifts and the tables turn. Where once you might have been the one anxiously seeking their attention, now they're the ones feeling that gnawing sense of urgency. They begin to understand that your life is moving forward, with or without them, and the realization that someone else might appreciate your worth is terrifying. This fear can ignite a whirlwind of emotions: regret, longing, and sometimes even panic. They start to reflect on the moments they took for granted, the late-night conversations, your unwavering support, the laughter you shared, and the countless ways you enriched their life. The stark contrast between the past and your current absence becomes painfully evident. No longer able to dismiss your importance, they might find themselves wrestling with the question, what if I lose them for good? As this fear builds, it can spark a sense of desperation. They may begin to take action, whether it's reaching out to you more often, attempting to rekindle lost connections, or even trying to show you their changed behavior. The realization that their indifference could cost them a significant relationship becomes a powerful catalyst for change. They want to ensure they don't lose the chance to have you in their life again. However, it's essential to recognize that while this fear can motivate them to act, it's not your responsibility to manage their emotions or validate their feelings. Your focus should remain on your own growth and well-being. When you step back and allow this fear to permeate their thoughts, you're not just demonstrating your self-worth. You're also giving them the opportunity to reassess their actions and priorities. This newfound awareness often leads to genuine reflection. They might start questioning their previous behavior. Why didn't I appreciate them when I had the chance? Or what can I do differently to ensure I don't lose them again? Such introspection can foster significant personal growth as they confront their own shortcomings and learn to value connections more deeply. In the end, while their fear of losing you can be a motivating factor, it's crucial that any rekindled connection stems from genuine appreciation rather than mere desperation. If they genuinely recognize your worth and are willing to make changes, then perhaps there's room for a healthier relationship moving forward. But remember, your growth and happiness should always come first. You deserve to be valued not just for what you bring to the table, but for who you are at your core. Embrace the power of that fear, knowing it's not just about them. It's also about reclaiming your worth and finding your place in a life that excites and fulfills you. This fear creates a sense of urgency and desperation that they can't ignore. Think about it. When someone sees you thriving without them, their initial reaction might be to shrug it off. They might think they'll be back, or they're just going through a phase. But as time goes on, they realize something more serious is happening. You're not just pulling away. You're evolving, growing, and becoming a stronger, more confident version of yourself. And it starts to dawn on them, someone else is going to notice what they missed. Someone else is going to see the incredible person you become, and they might not get another chance. Here's the thing. People don't like to admit it, but the idea of being replaced is terrifying, especially when they see you becoming happier, more self-assured, and more independent. They start thinking, what if someone else comes along and sees all the things I took for granted? What if they treat them better than I did? That's when the fear really sets in. They start imagining scenarios where you're with someone new, someone who appreciates your worth from the start, and that thought alone can make them panic. When this fear of losing you kicks in, it often sparks a wave of regret. They regret not treating you better, not valuing your presence when they had the chance, and now they fear they've lost you for good. That fear doesn't just disappear. It lingers, making them think about you more intensely. They start comparing themselves to this imaginary someone else who could step into your life and give you everything they didn't. And trust me, that comparison eats at them. But here's the key. This fear is about more than just jealousy. It's about realizing they no longer have the security of knowing you're always there. They can't take your presence for granted anymore because they know there's a real possibility that someone else will step in and take their place. And that's a powerful motivator for them to take action. They don't want to lose the chance to be in your life, but they also realize that the dynamic has shifted. You're no longer waiting for them. You're moving forward. And if they want to be a part of your future, they need to step up before it's too late. Here's what's interesting. This fear doesn't just motivate them to come back. It forces them to reassess their own behavior. They start asking themselves, why didn't I appreciate them more? Why did I take them for granted? What can I do differently to make sure I don't lose them again? This reflection often leads to genuine change, because they know that if they don't fix what went wrong the first time, they might not get another chance. And that's where the fear of losing you becomes a catalyst for real growth. But remember, this isn't about manipulation. You're not pulling away to make someone jealous or to make them afraid of losing you. You're pulling away because you're focusing on yourself, your growth, and your happiness. The fact that they're now afraid of losing you is a natural consequence of them realizing your value. They took you for granted, and now they're seeing what they stand to lose. Keep thriving. Don't let the fear of someone else's reaction dictate your path. Focus on continuing to grow, building your life, and surrounding yourself with people who appreciate you from the start. If someone fears losing you, it's because they now see what they should have valued all along. But that doesn't mean you should stop moving forward for their sake. The fear of losing you to someone else is a powerful motivator, but it's not the goal. Your growth is about you, not them. If they want to step up, they need to do it on your terms. Not out of fear, but out of a genuine desire to be part of your journey. And if they don't, well, you're already moving forward, and someone who sees your value from the beginning will be ready to walk that path with you. Conclusion: your growth is the real power. Distance isn't about playing games. It's about reclaiming your power, your self-worth, and your time. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we can control is ourselves. When you step back from someone who isn't appreciating you, you're taking control of your life. You're showing them and yourself that your value doesn't depend on anyone else's recognition. It's a profound realization that paves the way for genuine growth and self-discovery. By creating that space, you're not just withdrawing. You're actively investing in your own well-being. You begin to prioritize your needs, dreams, and aspirations, shedding the weight of unreciprocated affection and attention. This shift allows you to focus on the areas of your life that truly matter: your passions, your health, and your relationships with those who uplift and inspire you. In doing so, you cultivate a deeper understanding of your own worth, and that self-assurance radiates outward. As you embrace this journey of self-improvement, something incredible happens. You start to flourish. You may find new hobbies, reconnect with old friends, or even dive into personal development. The more you grow, the more you become a magnet for positivity and opportunity. Your newfound confidence and clarity draw people in, and suddenly, those who once took you for granted begin to realize what they've lost. They start to notice the changes, your glow, your zest for life, and the way you carry yourself with a quiet strength. They may feel a pang of regret for not recognizing your value sooner. And trust me, when they see you thriving and becoming the best version of yourself, they won't be able to stay away. The very distance that once created separation now serves as a catalyst for reflection and reassessment on their part. But here's the crucial part. This transformation is not contingent on their reaction. Your journey is about you and your growth, not about waiting for validation or approval. Even if they don't come back, you've already won. You've reclaimed your power, your happiness, and your sense of self. In the end, that's the most profound victory of all. So continue to embrace the distance as a means of empowerment, knowing that it sets the stage for your extraordinary evolution. You're no longer waiting for anyone. You're on your own path to greatness, and nothing can take that away from you. But here's the most important part. You don't need them to come back. You've already won by focusing on your growth. In this journey of self-discovery, you've learned that your happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from external validation or the presence of others. So whether they come back or not, you're stronger, smarter, and more empowered than ever before. This newfound strength equips you with the tools to navigate future relationships with clarity and confidence. You've developed a deeper understanding of your own worth, and that awareness allows you to set healthy boundaries and demand the respect you deserve. You're no longer just someone waiting on the sidelines for someone else to appreciate you. You've become the main character in your own story, actively shaping your narrative. Even if they choose not to return, the growth you've experienced is invaluable. You've become a more complete version of yourself, and that's a victory in itself. You've embraced your individuality, pursued your passions, and cultivated a life that excites you. You now attract people who recognize your value, people who align with your energy and aspirations. So as you move forward, remember that the journey is about embracing your own potential and cultivating the life you want. The right people will be drawn to you naturally, and those who once overlooked your worth will either come to realize their mistake or fade into the background. Either way, your focus remains on continuing to elevate yourself, creating a future filled with opportunities and connections that truly resonate with who you are. In the end, your journey isn't just about them. It's about celebrating your growth, standing firm in your power, and forging a path that reflects your true self. And that is a triumph worth celebrating every single day. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to drop a comment below and share your journey with us. Are you currently giving someone the space they need? Have you experienced someone coming back into your life after they recognized your true worth? Your stories are important, and I genuinely want to hear from you. And if you found value in this message, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who might benefit from hearing it. Your support helps spread this important message further, and together, we can inspire others to focus on their growth and self-worth. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to connecting with you in the comments.